This is for the drummers.
Oh, wow.
Way
Chimigwech to you, Jeannick Labelle and Janet McHugh, for being with us today and to starting our program in a good way and sharing your wonderful voices in this space. Ladies and gentlemen, Your Honors, Ms. Dumont, Your Honor Tony Vicardi, Senator Dasko, Chief Knott, Chief Simpson, President Fro, councillors, esteemed dignitaries, board members, community staff, volunteers, dear friends. Anin, bonjour, hello, bonjour. My name is Jeremy Ward. It's my privilege to be the curator here at the Canadian Canoe Museum. It is also my honor to serve as your MC for this afternoon and the formal part of today's program. I'm feeling a little bit emotional right now, if you can't tell. This is extraordinary. And I want to welcome each and every one of you here into the Jiman, the Kino Magiwan, the Canadian Canoe Museum here on the shores of Little Lake today. Today marks a remarkable achievement in the development and history of the Canadian Canoe Museum. We're here to celebrate this milestone together, and we'll hear from a mixture of in-person and recorded presentations to help us celebrate. I'd also like to recognize the folks who are joining us online on live stream via our website, and welcome to you all. And for those of us assembled here inside the new museum, we have gathered here on the shores of the Otonabee River. This is the Otonabe River, the river that beats like a heart. This is a river, one of many, that flows through Mississauga territories and the lands covered by Treaty 20 and also the Williams Treaties. The Canoe Museum also recognizes the contributions of Indigenous people, including First Nations, Inuit, and Métis, in shaping this community and this country as a whole, as an organization that stewards the largest collection of paddled watercraft anywhere in the world. We will honor and share the cultural histories and the stories within the collection in all that we do. Her Excellency, the Right Honorable Mary Simon, who is also a patron of this museum, sends her warm greetings and regrets that she was unable to be with us today. She sent the following message. And I wish I could speak it in Inuktitut. I am pleased to extend my warmest greetings to everyone gathered to celebrate the grand opening of the brand new Canadian Canoe Museum, located on the traditional territory of the Williams Treaties First Nations. Whatever our origins, beliefs, or languages, understanding our past is essential to shaping the future in which we aspire. Building canoes and kayaks became absolutely vital for Indigenous peoples who have used them daily for hunting, fishing, and for traveling since time immemorial. Handing down their expertise on these fast, lightweight watercraft played a key role in building our country and shaping the Canadian identity. I'm delighted that the Canadian Canoe Museum tells our collective story while celebrating Indigenous cultures and ancestral practices. This remarkable initiative fosters not only learning and knowledge, but also inclusion and reconciliation. Congratulations to everyone involved in realizing this ambitious project. I wish you every success in the future. And we warmly thank Her Excellency for her congratulatory remarks and for accepting her patronage also with this museum. Now I'll turn your attention to the screens to hear a video greeting from our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau.
Hello everyone, bonjour à tous, and congratulations to the team at the Canadian Canoe Museum on your reopening. The work you do to preserve the history of canoeing here in Canada and to inspire more people to get out on the water is something very close to my heart. I grew up canoeing with my dad. We'd take his birch bark canoe out on Harrington Lake after, of course, he'd gotten done using pitch and bear grease on the seams, which took hours. It'd be incredible to be out there on the water. That canoe now lives in your museum, and I'm grateful that you're taking such great care of it. Quand j'en ai l'occasion, j'amène mes enfants en canot. Ce sont des moments que j'apprécie beaucoup parce que descendre une rivière en pagayant, ça nous oblige à apprendre l'art de l'équilibre, ça nous connecte à la nature et ça nous rappelle ce qu'on risque de perdre si on ne protège pas notre environnement. Je veux pouvoir laisser à mes enfants et mes éventuels petits-enfants un pays où ils pourront profiter des lacs et des forêts. Quand on pense aux gens qui ont pagayé sur ces cours d'eau bien avant la Confédération, on réalise que le canot représente bien ce que c'est d'être Canadien. It's part of this land's indigenous heritage and culture. It's a symbol, and for me, it's a very real part of our country's identity. Like my dad used to say, canoeing is a demanding expedition. It takes effort, strength, and perseverance. But for the way it connects you with nature and the world, it is surely the most rewarding. Congratulations again, my friends. Thank you for all you do. Merci.
Merci, Monsieur Premier Ministre. I'll tell you that on your explorations today, if you go down the third aisle in our collection hall, the birch bark canoe that our Prime Minister was speaking about, that being repaired before being paddled, is on the second row, about 2/3 of the way back. It was built by one of my favorite canoe makers of the 20th century, Patrick Miranda from Lac Rapide, Lac Barrière. It's a beautiful canoe, and it's been a long feature here at the Canoe Museum. We're delighted to care for it and its stories. I'm pleased now to invite Her Honour, the Honourable Edith Dumont, Lieutenant Governor of Ontario, to speak. Your Honour, welcome.
Ms. Hislop, Your Worship, elders, chiefs, elected officials, distinguished guests, chers amis, chers voisins, chers citoyens et citoyennes de Peterborough, bonjour, good afternoon, bojo. Miigwech to Jeannette McHugh and Jannick Labelle for starting us off in such a good way. I'm delighted to be here with you as we celebrate the new home of the Canadian Canoe Museum. It was so great to go canoeing with you earlier at lunch. Thank you again. It was a long portage, bringing everything here from the old location, but I think everyone will agree that this stunning facility has made the journey worthwhile. Vous pouvez être fiers que Peterborough soit le meilleur endroit au monde pour découvrir l'histoire des canots. Of course, the history of the canoe intersects with many different histories. First and foremost, the history of the indigenous peoples who invented it and who continue to guide its evolution. A history of exploration, ingenuity, artistry, and ongoing navigation of the waterways they have stewarded since time immemorial. As well, the shared history of settlers and indigenous peoples, the stories that the museum tells in Anishinaabe-Mowin, en français, and in English, will foster understanding of this history, an understanding that is key to the journey of reconciliation. The history of trade and economics, l'histoire du sport, and the history of the waterways themselves and in the life in and around them. This museum will make abundantly clear that when it comes to the water and the environment, we are all in the same boat. Each one of the crafts and artifacts inside this giant canoe has its own story. And it's wonderful that some of the boats are being made available for people to take out on the water so that the canoe's stories and our own will be woven together. As the representative of the Crown in Ontario, I offer my warm congratulations to Carolyn Hislop and the whole team, as all your team in this Canadian Canoe Museum. Thank you for your vision, your dedication, and your skill in steering through the low and high tides that are part of any project of this size. Sometimes the journey we make is not the one we had planned, but it's the one we discover we needed all along. And thank you to the volunteers, sponsors, and the supporters who have helped to build and set up this unique and remarkable place. You offer living proof that there's no destination we cannot reach when everyone is paddling together. Thank you. Merci. Miigwech.
Your Honor, merci. I have to say, and I'm sure I'm not the only one on the Canoe Museum team, Your Honor, who's thinking, where were you when we were writing our exhibit copy that you're seeing upstairs? That's perfect voice. Merci beaucoup. Well, I invite you now to turn your attention again to the screens to hear a video message from our Premier, Doug Ford.
Hi everyone, I want to congratulate everyone involved on the grand opening of the Canadian Canoe Museum. And I have to give a big shout out to a friend of our families who's no longer with us, Kirk Whipper, the founder. He had a passion for this, and I know he's looking down on us today, and he's just so proud. And there's no doubt that canoes are a big part of Ontario's history and Canada's history. And I know this museum is going to be a hub of inspiration and knowledge for everyone who walks through its doors. Again, congratulations on this remarkable milestone. I wish you all the very best in your journey ahead, and God bless.
Well, thank you, Premier. Indigenous peoples around the world built and used the first canoes and kayaks. The canoe embodies Indigenous cultural memory and is a living cultural object with both historical and contemporary relevance. As part of the exhibition development, collections care, and community engagement, this museum works alongside Indigenous peoples to share stories and care for the collection in a respectful way. I would like to now welcome Chief Keith Knott from Curve Lake First Nation to welcome us to the territory. Chief.
Henri, bonjour. Come on, folks, let's get excited here. Henri, bonjour. Now you're in the groove. Henri, bonjour. And he got a gob with district cause. Makwa, Makesen Doram. Oshkigmong Donjiba, Kimondao. Good morning, or afternoon, everybody. Isn't that sweet? Good afternoon, everybody. This is a great celebration. We should be rejoicing. There, now we got it. It is such an honor and a pleasure to be with you here this afternoon. I don't know, when day doesn't end for me, so I don't know when it starts or when it ends. So it's a delight to be amongst us again today, you know. Looking back, the first time I stepped foot in the museum at the other place on Monaghan Road, a dear friend of mine, mayor back at that day, was Jack Doris. We had an opportunity to have a first glimpse of some of the canoes they had there. It's a good thing there was canoes there because it was raining so hard, the roof was leaking, we were getting soaked. So good job canoes was there. If it flooded, we were able to paddle our way out. So it was a great, and then the effort that has taken by so many people to bring this beautiful reality to what it is today. You go back and look at all those canoes back there. Just imagine the history that is there. The roads that they traveled, and I don't mean highways. I mean the waterways of which these boats traveled. That was our means of travel way back in the day. And then, to top that all off, if you look at Lake Superior, Petrocliffs, Bon Echo, you'll see signs there, like you see today along our highways, these big tall towers of communication. There was communication always along the waterways that they can identify and probably say what is happening or what's going on, what kind of livelihood there is in that particular area. But the enjoyment of it is today, we're celebrating a resting place where we can all enjoy the past. And what are we going to do to create a future that will identify what our ancestors brought us thus far? And keep in mind also, this place, Kawartha Lakes, is also called the land of the shining waters. We don't want to forget that. Because if you looked at the canoers as they were out there this afternoon and this morning, you can see the water as the paddles come out, how they glitter. Just like little stars or something as they glitter at nighttime. These is what you see, and that's what creation gave us to enjoy, exercise our knowledge on some of these things. We are here as a people, what we've enjoyed up to this far. Let's keep it, what we have, so that future generations can enjoy what we have enjoyed up to this far. Is the signal here yet? But it's a wonderful thing. The effort, the time, the energy that was put in for this facility that is here. The beauty, and it shows within this room. The beautiful faces I see, the smiles on every face, what makes the difference. We got to enjoy it. Our ancestors planned it that way. They planned it so that we can carry on what they began and make it better for further down the road. The Creator gave us everything that we needed to do things. Enjoy His creation. The trees, the flowers, the grass, the waters, all of this stuff. And as you paddle your way down the rivers, the lakes, the streams, enjoy what you see. And that is why we are here today. We enjoy of the past of our ancestors, grandfathers, fathers, in a big room out the back there so that we can look at those canoes. Look at those big war canoes or freighter canoes. Just another one, those freighter canoes. Back in those days, that was our 18-wheeler. Those ones back in the day, that's where they put in all the big stuff to bring down the rivers, the lakes, the streams. And that is great. And this is why I think a good name for this facility. Chimon Kinumadzaziwin. You'll learn about the canoes, you'll learn about the history, you'll learn about life by even looking at the canoes. That is life. It lived. And we got to keep it living forever so that our children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, the unborn can come into this facility and look and see the history that is within this facility itself. So with that, thank you all very much. And don't forget, you learned one word today in our language. And what's that? Anin. Anin, bonjour. Oh, to me, glad.
Chimigwech, Chief Knott, thank you for your words. And no signal from me. I could listen to you all day. I love hearing you speak. Sadly, Chief Lori Carr from Hiawatha First Nation could not be here with us today, but she sends a message to us, and we're just going to pull it up on the screen now. So if you change your attention to the screens, Chief Carr.
Ani atikto dam, Vegaseko Edishnakas, Lori Noswin, Michisaki, Anishinaabe, and Dow. Hello, everyone. My name is Lori. I'm from the Hoof Clan. I am Michisagi and chief of our community of Hiawatha First Nation. I'm sorry I couldn't be there with you all today. However, we do have two of our council members in the audience, and they would like to stand up and wave. I'm here to welcome you to the traditional and treaty territory of the Michisagi and Chippewa nations. And as you celebrate today, please enjoy this wonderful building and all that it has to offer, from our past, our present, and into our future. So once again, congratulations to everyone, to all of you, to those who were able to make this day happen and create this beautiful museum. Chimigwech.
Chimigwech, Chief Carr, we are sorry you're not here with us today, but we know you are in your heart, and we look forward to coming together here again in a few days. I would like now to call up President Fro of Métis Nation of Ontario, Margaret.
Hanin bonjour, bon après-midi à tous. Good afternoon, everyone. Margaret Fro Dishnakashan. I wanted to start by acknowledging Janet and Janique for the very beautiful song. You've lent your voices and your drum, your beautiful voices and your drum, to make today very, very special. Chimigwech. Your honors, chiefs, senators, MPs, elders. I just want to acknowledge that we are on the Treaty 20 Michisagi territory and acknowledge all of the Williams Treaties First Nations. And to say thank you, merci, Chief Knott, for welcoming us to the territory and for sharing a really wonderful welcoming. 100% with you. Today is a day of celebration. Thank you, merci, for your words, and also for your leadership. We were chatting a little bit ahead of time, and he's served for a long time, kind of retired, is serving again, and brings a wealth of leadership. Greetings to everyone on behalf of all of our citizens and our leadership, our communities of the Métis Nation of Ontario. And I want to acknowledge our M&O Regional Councillor Andy Dufresne and our local Peterborough Wapiti Métis Council, they're out there somewhere, President Crystal Emelin, that are with me today. And to all the mothers that are here today, I want to just say a happy advanced Mother's Day to all of you. What a wonderful day we have today. Just a beautiful, beautiful day to be out on the water. I was blessed to be in the canoe with her honors and others as we gather to celebrate the creation of this beautiful new space that will share with all visitors a different perspective of Canada and indeed the world. When you look at that collection, it is not just crafts from this country. And that's a perspective from the waters. And I want to echo Chief Knott's comments, when you look at this beautiful piece of glass above the door, it's a bit of a glimpse at the entryway to the museum here. You get a real sense of the importance of the Great Lakes and the waterways in terms of the history of this place, how it connects all places, right? And that's the piece that Chief Knott was talking about. It's a really wonderful, I love that glass. It's a wonderful visual that helps folks reimagine this country through the lens, through the eyes of its First Peoples, First Nations, Métis, Inuit, all who relied on the waterways for food, for transportation, for trade, for inter-nation relations. And the story of those waters and the various crafts that have been created to travel on them, it really is the story, as you've heard already today, it's the story of Indigenous peoples. And these waterways have played such a foundational role in the country that we live in today in Canada. This place, the Canoe Museum, Jiman Kinamagwin, is a place of storytelling. And I want to acknowledge the museum for the integrity with which they approach that work. I think that's so important. Creating space for such beautiful and compelling storytelling that I know will touch the hearts of everyone who walks through these doors and who goes out on the water, because I know that's a big part of a component of the time that you will spend here. The beauty of the canoe, and we're surrounded by them, the experience of being out on the water, of hearing the sound that the ripples make when your paddle hits the water, that sense of excitement, if you've ever been out and approached rapids, that sense of excitement about faster water, about rapids, the drudgery of portaging. These are all things, joyful experiences that so many of us have had the blessing of having throughout our lives. For many people, they haven't had that. And this is a place to share that joy. The canoe is absolutely iconic, and I think you heard the Prime Minister speak to some of that today as well. It is an enduring symbol of this country, of these lands, and they are experiences that this place seeks to share with everyone who visits, to inspire them to look at this land through another lens, and that is from the water, to actually look at this place from the water. This work of storytelling that the museum is undertaking is particularly important in this country's ongoing work of reconciliation. And I wanted to acknowledge Jeremy's comments about the role that places like this have. It aligns very well with the work of the Métis Nation of Ontario and so many other Indigenous nations as we continue to share our stories as Métis, as First Nations, as Inuit, to educate all Canadians on our long and very rich and respective histories. At a time when some seek to render us once again invisible, denying our stories of struggle and loss, denying the lasting legacy of colonial policies like residential schools, like 60 Scoop, and their impact on our communities still to this day, and sometimes even, for some of us, denying our very existence as a peoples, places like this really matter. Storytelling really matters. So as you paddle your way, I'm trying to take off of her honors spins this morning, as you paddle your way around this beautiful new museum, you are surrounded by Métis, by First Nations, by Inuit stories and history. I invite you to listen to those stories and to share that experience that this place, Jiman Kinamagwin, the Canadian Canoe Museum, has created for us here. As Chief Knott said, this is a good day. It's a celebration. And I want to say thank you and congratulations to Carolyn, to Jeremy, to Vicky, to the whole board of the museum, to the staff, and of course, all the partners. Last time I was here for a site visit, I believe I was seeing these beautiful plaster people that there's so much has gone into bringing us this experience that you have today, to all of the partners that worked so hard to create this wonderful new museum that I know are going to touch the hearts of so many people for many years to come. And of course, I also want to thank the Weston Foundation for having the wisdom, the absolute wisdom, to generously donate to ensure that this would become a reality. Congratulations to everyone for realizing that vision. I can say on behalf of the Métis Nation of Ontario, we look forward to continue to partner with you and to do our part together to tell those stories for the betterment of everyone who visits this place. Merci. Miigwech.
Merci, President Fro. The individual, I think you were remembering, Ray Riddell, who was a brilliant drywaller and partitions in this museum. And we'd come with important guests, and Ray would offer to give a tour. His enthusiasm for this place as it was coming together was also magnetic. Please welcome Member of Parliament Anna Gainey, who is here on behalf of Minister of Canadian Heritage, the Honourable Pascal Saint-Onge. Anna.
Merci, Jeremy. Bonjour tout le monde. Hello, everyone. Greetings to the Honourable Edith Dumont, Senator Dasko, Indigenous chiefs, community leaders, colleagues, distinguished guests. It's really incredible to be with all of you in this room today. I'm really honored to be a part of this program and to witness the opening of this incredible facility. Respectfully also acknowledge that Peterborough County is located on the Treaty 20 Michi-Sagaig territory and the traditional territory of the Michi-Sagaig and Chippewa Nations, collectively known, as has been mentioned, the Williams Treaties First Nation. It is my honor to be here, and also to be here on behalf of the Honourable Pascal Saint-Onge, Minister of Canadian Heritage. It is a remarkable day, after years of planning and hard work, to have finally arrived at the grand opening of this incredibly beautiful museum. Since 2016, almost $13 million has been contributed to the museum through Canada's Cultural Spaces Fund and the Museum Assistance Program. For this project, the Canada Cultural Spaces Fund funded the architectural and engineering design, as well as the construction of the new museum, the fabrication and installation of the new exhibits. With the Museum Assistance Program funding, which funds heritage institutions for the preservation and presentation of heritage collections, it supported the Canoe Museum's logistical planning and removal of the 20 largest watercrafts in the collection to make them ready for the move to the new waterfront location. This big lift involved a large crane to hoist the canoes out of the second floor galleries. The result was that these fragile and irreplaceable heritage items were safely preserved because the museum was able to access the expertise and equipment necessary to manage this complex process. The canoe and kayak are of Indigenous origins and hold profound significance for Indigenous peoples. The canoe's enduring presence symbolizes resilience, ingenuity, and the interconnectedness of Indigenous culture with the land and water. As we continue on the important and critical path of truth and reconciliation, the Canadian Canoe Museum not only invites us to honor these origins and foster a deeper understanding of our shared history, but to develop collaborative processes to work together, to care for and share our cultural histories and stories. Congratulations to the Canadian Canoe Museum on the opening of this new museum and lakefront campus, which will see Canadians, newcomers, Indigenous peoples, international visitors of all ages connecting with the canoe more than ever before. Merci beaucoup, thank you, miigwech.
Thank you, Minister. The Honourable Philomena Tassi, Minister responsible for Federal Economic Development and Agency, Southern Ontario, was unable to be with us here today and sends the following message. Congratulations on the grand opening of the new Canadian Canoe Museum. Your beautiful new waterfront location is a perfect home for the world's largest collection of canoes, kayaks, and paddled watercraft. The space is an important site for preserving and enhancing both Indigenous and Canadian cultural heritage. The Government of Canada is pleased to have supported this project with an investment of $750,000, which helped to outfit this new space for your community members and visitors to enjoy. My best wishes to all those attending for a successful and enjoyable event, and also to all who were involved in making this project a reality. Thank you. So we thank Minister Tassi for her kind message and extend our gratitude to the Government of Canada for its support through this funding. Pardon? Yes, she is. Oh, very good. Where is Minister? Excellent. Well, I'd like to now call up a Member of Parliament for Peterborough and Kawarthas, Michelle Ferreri. There we are.
I feel like I want to be as excited as Chief Knott. Woo! Woo! Well, what was that Voyager thing? Woo! I got your blessing. Thank you, Chief. Thank you. Very, very exciting. Listen, it's an honor to be here with so many of my esteemed colleagues. Your Honor, you've been a real delight to get to know, and I didn't know you were such a tremendous paddler either, but I really wanted to beat you when we were in the other Voyager canoe. It's an amazing thing. The canoe, as we've heard today, is such a metaphor for life, because if people can't decide where they're going to go, they don't move. And today we were paddling and we were doing a great thing, and we made it to the dock safely, and we didn't tip our canoe. Thank you to my paddle mate Garth, who sits on the board from Yellowknife. Where is he? Where's Garth? He left. He's like, he got all wet. No. And I had another lady in front of me from Alberta, and it's just amazing to see all these people come from all across the country to see our beautiful city. And I want to just say two things. When we went to the old museum, which I absolutely loved taking my family to, one of the things that I loved is the interaction, the trading post. So if you haven't been upstairs yet and you go upstairs, into the trading post. And that is where children decide whether they love to learn or they don't. And when you teach children to love to learn, you have an incredible society. And what the Canadian Canoe Museum is, it's this mixed media, and they've done an incredible job here of teaching children, encouraging children to love to learn. And I want to thank you as a member of Parliament, but as a mom, for doing that, because what our kids need more than ever is hands-on interactive learning about our history and our culture, and it's right here in Peterborough. So thank you. Thank you very much for that. I want to just say thank you to Carolyn and Jeremy, and on behalf, I have a scroll here to present to you, so I'm going to present it to you. The grand opening of the Canadian Canoe Museum. It's going to be so exciting to bring everyone from all over the world here. This is the best in the world, and it's in Peterborough. So how proud can we be? How amazing. And I just want to say thank you to all the people who made this happen. I am presenting it to Carolyn and Jeremy, but listen, just like the canoe, if everybody says, yeah, this is all the things we want to do, but nobody coordinates it. If people don't decide what to do and you don't have that leader, nothing happens. So this was a work of a lot of people who came before me, many people who came before me and had a vision for this country, or for this museum. And so I just want to say thank you to everybody, the volunteers, the sponsors. Thank you. You will make a big difference in our country and our community. And I can't wait to see more hotels built so we can keep people overnight and they can paddle, paddle, paddle. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The museum has been a grateful recipient of funding from all levels of government, and the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Sport has been a key contributor to the realization of this project. Please join me in welcoming Minister of Tourism, Culture and Sport, the Honourable Neil Lumsden, to say a few words.
Thank you, Jeremy, and Your Honor, and the leadership and the special people that are here representing communities. Thank you. You heard Jeremy say tourism, culture, and sport, and I always add another culture in there because I think it's important to how we do things. And so I'm going to take a page out of the sport just to start things off. Because it's hockey season, when your home team comes on the ice, people get on their feet and cheer. They let people know how much, they let the players know how much they appreciate what they do, how hard they work. So if you'll humor me, I'd like you all, when I say here they come, to get on your feet and applaud for the leadership group, the volunteers, everybody who has had a hand in bringing this to life, show your appreciation. And now would be the time. Everybody? Well deserved. Also wanted to welcome a colleague, MPP Lori Scott, to my left here, and you'll meet Dave Smith, MPP Dave Smith, shortly too. And I don't get a chance to thank him for the work that he did in our ministry for a while and the leadership that he shows. Both are MPPs, but it's great to see you. I've also got a canoe story I won't rival the Prime Minister's, but it popped in my head when I heard him speaking, and it's a little bit more romantic, but if I have time, I'll get to it. I'm thrilled and honored to be here today. I really am. And museums play a vital role in so much that we do and who we are. It tells stories. It brings communities together. It brings people from outside of our communities together to understand a little bit more about maybe what someone else has experienced. I've always been an experienced kind of guy. I love them, all sorts and all kinds, good and bad, because you learn from experiences. And then if you're paying attention, you take things as a learning from each experience. And connecting more people in Ontario is a goal of ours based on the ministry I'm involved in. And what we have here today is inspiring. I had a mini tour as well and saw before everything was done, and I appreciate it. But when you get back, I was in awe at the time because I thought I had a bit of a vision, but yeah, I wasn't even close. This is, I like to use the word fabulous because when you use it, oftentimes it will elevate people around you. So this is fabulous, and what you have done will continue to elevate at the next level and make an impact in so many people's lives. So again, to all of you that received that applause and the leadership, I look forward to coming back in a slower time and really taking everything in. But I'm not getting in a canoe, and I'll tell you why in a minute. This is a marquee destination for the City of Peterborough, and it will continue to showcase Indigenous heritage, the stories that go with that heritage, promote Canada and Ontario as a leadership in a place to go and a destination when it comes in another part of our ministry, tourism. When you, have you all heard this, if you build it, they will come. But it's true. And when you build something this spectacular, people will come and the news will get out. And hotels, absolutely. You're gonna need more of them, Now this is an unbelievable location. Again, I saw it and had a chance to, and I don't get out as much as I would like to, because again, it comes down to me. If I can experience as much as I can meeting people and seeing things, it's a wonderful thing. But here was my unique experience in canoeing. I just met my soon-to-be wife. We were up at a cottage, knew her a month. She said, let's go jump in the canoe and go for a paddle, get to know each other. I said, great idea. We get out there, we're maybe 50, 60 yards out. Somebody probably needed something inappropriate as far as movement. Over we go. Now what do? I look at her, she looks at me, says, we'll find our way back. So we learned as a couple to solve problems very quickly. Then we had kids and we were a little older, a little more mature, and we were up at a cottage and the kids were off doing something. We said, well, let's go back out in the canoe. It's right over there. Come on, this would be great fun. Okay, we're a little smarter now. We got out 100 yards this time. That's where the smartness took us, and over we went. Donna made the move, it wasn't me. And fortunately, people at that time had a boat. They came out and pulled us in. So not to be deterred, about 6 years ago, living in Hamilton, my wife said, let's go to the Grand River and do like that, I would call it a hike, but it's a tour down the Grand River in a kayak. So I can kayak, absolutely. We get there, we check in, we do all the things we need to do. The guy comes up to me and says, look, if you're okay, we've run out of kayaks, will you go on the canoe? I'm not making this stuff up. I said, sure, we can do that. And he said, well, okay, and we've also put everybody's lunch in the cooler there, right in between, so you're nicely balanced. So I thought, okay, we got this. Donna, we're doing it in the canoe. She's looking at me. We didn't get 30 feet before this canoe flipped. We got sandwiches going down the river. We got bottles of water. Yeah, it was her fault. So the love that came out of those canoe trips for me helped galvanize my relationship to last as long as it did with my wife. So whoever, thanks. It was pretty funny. And do you think I'll ever get her close to a canoe again? Not a chance. But seriously, thank you for all the work that you've done. Thank you for sharing a vision and allowing what will be thousands and thousands of people to come in, and young people from an educational perspective to look back on our history and understand why things are the way it used to be, to move forward with that knowledge and education, to bring people in to learn more about Peterborough, what Peterborough has to offer in this part of Ontario, and for doing something special, because it's getting harder to find things to celebrate. And what you've done is you've got one very, very large candle on this cake. So thank you for doing a great job.
Thank you, Neil. Those are great words. And thank you. You can, here at the Canoe Museum, you can get close to about 650 canoes, but safely on the shoreline. But I guarantee we'll get you back out in a canoe. Well, it's now my pleasure to welcome a friend who's been a supporter of this museum for a long time, our Minister of Provincial Parliament, Member of Provincial Parliament, Peterborough Kawartha's Dave Smith. Dave, it's been a journey.
Today's a fitting day to relay a story of when I first got into politics. I was told that I needed to remember that there were many who came before me. And yes, indeed, today, many did come before me. And then I was told to remember that there will be many who come after me. And yes, indeed, there will be many who come after me. We've had a lot of conversation about the historical aspect of the canoe. We've had conversations about the cultural impact of the canoe. A little bit on sport. Obviously, with Minister Lumsden being the Minister of Tourism, Culture and Sport and his sport background, we had to have a little bit of that as well. I'm going to take it in a slightly different direction with sport. And it's because a friend of mine is one of the ambassadors here for the Canoe Museum, and that's Adam Van Couverden. And when we look at some of the collection, his Olympic canoes are here. So I think that there's some good references to sport that we can make, and it is with respect to Carolyn, Jeremy, and the entire team here. Our best players definitely were our best players. They kept the puck down low through all adversity. They cycled the puck. They made sure that they had time and space to get things done, because when you have the time to do things and the space to make it happen, good things do occur. And that is so true in this case. There were so many adversities from day one with this. I was first introduced to it before I was ever elected in politics. I had hosted a little hockey tournament on the canal just up the way a bit. And after Hockey Day in Canada in 2013, Carolyn and I had some conversations about the new location that they were looking at and how that might impact the canal and what was going on those winters afterwards. And that was my first introduction to it. And I have to say that Carolyn was extremely collaborative. And we saw that this was going to be an approach throughout the whole community, that she was going to take a look at what did everyone need and how could we make that happen. And when we had the challenges in that initial location, she cycled the puck down low. She kept her feet moving. she made sure that there was time and space to find another location. And here we are. And what a beautiful location it is. It is truly a testament to your vision, your perseverance, and your stick-to-itiveness. And thank you so much for investing so much into this community, Carolyn.
Couldn't agree more. Let's now give a warm welcome to our esteemed mayor, Jeff Leal, please.
Thanks so much, Jeremy. Your Honor, Chief Knott, Chief Simpson, dignitaries, special guests in our community. It's a great pleasure and honor to be here today. But I must say, I think I can speak on behalf of the warden. Yesterday, we had a unique experience in life to spend a day with the Lieutenant Governor of the Province of Ontario. Madame Dumont, you're truly a remarkable Canadian, and thank you for what you do. The story of Peterborough, like the stories of communities across Canada, in many ways intertwined with the story of the canoe. It is what made Peterborough the ideal location for the home of the Canadian Canoe Museum that inspires curiosity, fosters understanding, and celebrates the enduring legacy of the canoe that shaped our country. The iconic Peterborough Canoe Company, operated here from 1892 to 1961, crafted beautiful wood canoes, making Peterborough a household name throughout the world. In fact, in 1948, the City of Peterborough gifted then Princess Elizabeth a canoe when she visited this area. Peterborough has the privilege to host the Canadian Canoe Museum since it was established in 1997. And I want to recognize former mayors Sylvia Sutherland and Jack Doris for their part in making it happen. Their original home served the Canadian Canoe Museum well in establishing a reputation as a museum on a national and international basis. And when it was clear that the Canadian Museum needed a new home, the museum's board, staff, volunteers, and supporters across this great country and local community leapt into action. Their collective efforts have culminated in this announcement today. As Mayor of Peterborough, I extend my heartfelt congratulations to the Canadian Canoe Museum volunteer teams and supporters who have made this remarkable dream come true. Their dedication and excellence and your unwavering belief in the power of storytelling have transformed this vision into a world-class destination. This museum stands as a testament to collaboration by our partners and who recognize the importance of preserving our shared histories for generations to come. I want to recognize the First Nations of Alderville, Curve Lake, Hiawatha, Skugog Island for their long-standing relationship with the Canadian Canoe Museum and their support of this important project. Thank you. Thank you to our former Member of Parliament, Mary Monsef, securing federal funding for this initiative. Thank you to former mayors Daryl Bennett and Diane Terrian Hale for their support of this project, as to the Government of Canada and our current MP, Michelle Ferreri. I was pleased when I was at the cabinet table when we approved the provincial funding requested for this new location. Former Premier Kathleen Wynne, an ardent paddler herself, was a key voice in that debate. Premier Ford and then Minister MacLeod followed through on this extraordinary commitment. I want to sincerely thank the Government of Ontario, Minister Lumsden, our local MPP Dave Smith, for their constant support for the Canadian Canoe Museum and for the great riding of Peterborough Kawartha. thanks to the private donors, particularly the W. Garfield Weston Foundation. As we unveil this new studying facility, we're not only opening the doors to a world exploration discovery, but reaffirming our commitment to preserving and sharing the stories of Indigenous peoples, early settlers, and modern-day adventurers who have navigated the waters of this great land. In the heart of Peterborough, nestled along the picturesque Otonabee River, the Canadian Canoe Museum will serve as a cultural hub, a place of learning, a source of inspiration for all those who walk through its doors. From school children learning about the significance of birch bark canoe, to seasoned paddlers marveling at the craftsmanship of traditional watercraft, this museum offers something for everyone. Now finding its home, this vast location on the shores of Little Lake. Congratulations to everybody involved as we continue to build a better tomorrow together. God bless you all.
Thank you very much, Mayor. It is now my pleasure to call up Bonnie Clark, Peterborough County Warden. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeremy. And as our MPP Dave Smith said, when you get to the farther down the line, you get to repeat a few things. So it's certainly an honor to be here on behalf of Peterborough County at this highly anticipated opening. What a building, just amazing. I'd like to also recognize our dignitaries. Your Honor, again, thank you for that wonderful day and allowing Mayor Leal and myself to showcase our region. We are so proud of it, and thank you for your time. I'd also like to thank all the federal and provincial MPPs that are here today and their support, as Mayor Leal has said. Minister Lumsden, a few words to you. You stuck in far better than I did. I had a young friend in my teenage years and canoed many times with him on Rice Lake. And then a very nasty storm come along and we capsized. And that was the end of our relationship. I'd also like to say hello to all the city councillors, and I have many of our county councillors here as well, and I would ask those to stand and please wave as well, because they have been great supporters of the museum. Thank you. Welcome, and again, thank you for being here with us today on this special day for our community, for our province, and for our country. This is national, it's international, it's just amazing. Peterborough County is proud to support the new Canadian Canoe Museum, who steward the largest collection of paddled watercraft in the world. Our investment underscores our commitment to preserving heritage, promoting tourism, encouraging economic development, fostering community engagement and education, supporting cultural recognition, and enriching our arts and culture landscape. The canoe is significant in the history and culture of Indigenous peoples, and certainly our representation here today to the ladies, and certainly to Chief Knott, and also to President Fro for being here. Thank you so much. You just add so much, and thank you again for yesterday when Chief Knott met us down at Lang Century Village. He adds so much to a conversation. We just love having you. The canoe is significant in history and culture, as I've said, recognizing it as a symbol of resilience, tradition, and connection to the land and waterways. Professor Kirk Whipper had a unique love for the outdoors, and it was his collection of over 600 watercraft at the Canoe Museum that would become the core of the Canadian Canoe Museum's collection. In the 1990s, he settled in the county's municipality of OS Township, and Mayor Taylor is here. I am part of OS Township as well. We call it awesome. And in 1997, the Canoe Museum was established nearby here in Peterborough. As a recipient of the Order of Canada, I know that he would be proud of where the Canadian Canoe Museum is located today. The beauty of this place is not limited to its riverside location. It is a place where we can discuss, reflect, and learn from each other. A place where the stories of Indigenous peoples and settlers converge, and where the voices of the past resonate in the present. The new location of the Canadian Canoe Museum, situated along the water's edge, promises a transformative visitor experience, shaping our region's identity as a hub for education and recreation. This museum will attract visitors from around the world, firmly positioning the Peterborough region as an international destination and driving tourism and economic prosperity throughout all 4 seasons. I would first of all like to have a little bridge in. I would like our county council to have a meeting here, so just planting that. I love the room upstairs and the light looking out on the water. I want to close by thanking staff and friends of the Canoe Museum, our partners, and all the workers and volunteers who have contributed to make this a Made in Peterborough success story. Thank you, miigwech, and merci.
Thank you, Warden. Now, the support from the Weston Family Foundation has been transformative, and with us now more than a quarter century. The encouragement over the last years has been instrumental to us also getting to this point. And I'd like to call up Garfield Mitchell to represent the Family Foundation and to share some words. Gar. Here we are.
Good afternoon, Your Honor, Chief, everyone. What a wonderful occasion as we gather to celebrate the grand opening of the new Canadian Canoe Museum. It is the Weston Family Foundation's honor to be the lead private financial supporter of this important venture. We have proudly championed the museum since its founding and were very receptive when the team approached us to support its redevelopment. From the earliest days of our connection with the museum, it was very apparent to our family and board members, a number of whom are here with us today, that something very special was happening here in Peterborough. Despite the many challenges and obstacles, the energy, enthusiasm, determination, and commitment of the many volunteers behind the initiative were unmistakable, inspiring, and contagious. In our eyes, this did not guarantee the success of the venture, but it did give us great trust and confidence in extending financial support repeatedly over the years. Today, we need that Canadian can-do spirit more than ever, both at the museum and elsewhere. Today is not the end of the work of all those wonderful people, stretching from Kevin Malone, Victoria Grant, Bill Morris, Carolyn Hislop, Jeremy Ward, and their teams, and so many others, all the way back to the visionary Kirk Whipper. Today we are entering a new stage in the journey of the museum, and that spirit of energy, determination, enthusiasm, and commitment will continue to be needed to keep the museum relevant, well-attended, financially strong, and inspirational. I extend our family's deepest appreciation to all who have contributed to this huge achievement. Let's ensure that very special things keep happening here at the museum. congratulations, sincere thanks, and warmest wishes from all of us at the Weston Family Foundation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Garfield. Well, we're getting close to officially opening our museum for your previewing pleasure, folks. Here to share some greetings from our current board of directors and its board chair, Kevin Malone.
Wow. Impressive. Thank you, Jeremy. Good afternoon, honored guests. In the spirit of gratitude and on behalf of the current board of directors, I extend my deepest thanks and recognition to the current board, as well as previous boards, and particularly the board of directors over the last 4 years. Together with the fundraising cabinet and the committees of the board, you were stewards of this project that we are able to bring over the finish line. We extend our collective thanks and special recognition to the immediate past chair of the board, Victoria Grant. Victoria, can you just stand up, please, Vicky? Well done, Vicky. Vicky was instrumental in helping us find our way to this incredible waterfront location when we had to do a pivot. So thank you very much, Vicky. This helped form the foundation upon which the current board and myself were able to build and to help our staff and project partners bring the vision of the new Canoe Museum to life. My sincerest admiration and appreciation to Carolyn and to Jeremy for their leadership, dedication, and sheer perseverance and willpower. Watching them work so hard, it often seemed that they were simply willed to make this museum and campus into being today. Thanks, guys. Together with the museum staff and volunteers, the design and build partners, and so many talented local suppliers and tradespeople, they delivered on the vision of a new museum, Miigwech. Now, none of this would have been possible without the vision and dedication of our founder, Kurt Whipper, and you've obviously heard a lot about Kurt tonight. It was Kurt's collection, amazed during the early days of Camp Candelore, that was later moved to Peterborough by the champions of the canoe and dedicated volunteers. That was the genesis of what is today a world-class collection of 600 watercraft, now fully displayed in the new Canadian Canoe Museum. Personally, it's been a tremendous privilege to serve on this one-of-a-kind organization that was declared an asset of cultural significance by the Senate of Canada in 2013. All the hard work and perseverance of those whose shoulders we have built upon has borne fruit. So much that this year, the museum was named to the list of the best cultural spots on National Geographic's Best of the World 2024, the brand's annual guide. Thank you. The brand's annual guide of the most exciting, meaningful, and one-of-a-kind travel experience of 2024. And Neil, you're smiling. Friends, it's not often that one gets to be part of such a momentous and historic project and event. I hope you take everything in and what you see today and embrace this special moment, and importantly, that you'll be inspired by our canoes. Congratulations to one and all. Thank you to all for being part of our journey to the water's edge. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Kevin. It's an honor for us to serve under you and this current board, and recognizing previous boards as well, and for their contribution and commitment. Well, it's now time to hear from a dear friend of mine, a colleague, my boss, a leader of this organization and its staff, and an inspiration. She has a boundless amount of energy and drive to push through when things get hard and to insist upon the very best, and that this organization and everything it does reflects the heart and soul of the people that it represents and what it cares for. So I'd like now to call up Carolyn Hislop, Executive Director.
Oh my God. You know we do this for you, right? It is you folks in this room and everybody else that's not able to be here today that is the driving force behind me, behind Jeremy, behind the rest of the team that's made this happen. So please, when you stand up for everybody else as well. Thank you, Jeremy, for the introduction. I have a few remarks to share, not many. Many have shared so many beautiful remarks already, and there's so much love in this room that I am humbled and feeling very moved by this. This is probably one of the most incredible days of my life. There's been a few. I have joked that this is my third child, and grateful that my two other children are able to be with me, whether virtually with my firstborn up tree planting in Northern Ontario, and my son, who's still in the crowd. Thank you, Aiden. Thank you, Mike, Mom and Dad, for being here. So friends, we have a really exciting day ahead. This is a celebration. This is a celebration of years of incredible work. And for me and the community here, those that are local, those that are across the country, the significance of today's celebration is, it's unimaginable. I've been involved with this museum for over 20 years, 23 to be exact. I didn't think I was going to be committing most of my life to this place, but it has that draw. It draws you in, and we've been given incredible opportunities with this organization and with this collection, and so very grateful for that. And for many of you, you were with us 2.5 years ago. It was 2.5 years ago, not 20, 2.5 years ago, we stood on these lands with that water behind us, out at the point, and we started construction of this beautiful facility on this wonderful campus. And when we did that, the goal was to build a home for the canoes, a home for the people, and a home for the story. And oh my goodness, I think we've done it. I think we have. We've made it happen. We are in the most exquisite facility that couldn't be more better. And this is where we are going to spend many, many more years. And this is the beginning of the next chapter. And I can't wait to get started with everybody. This 65,000 square foot facility is dedicated, about 2/3 of it is dedicated to the collection. And the collection is about the story. It's about the people. It's the language. It's the potential. And many of you understand that completely. And that's what's really neat about the kind of folks that are gathered here today. And then we have the docks. Was that not incredible to be down at the water? Like, blew my mind to see canoes and kayak on the water, and the big Voyager canoe, and people in PFDs, and loving the land and loving the water. And I think those connections is where the Canoe Museum has a potential for big change. And so I'm going to continue. Here we go.
I'm going to try to keep it together for the next little while because I'm going to be sharing a bit of gratitude. And I would not be standing here today if it weren't for the deep gratitude of all of you. You have the project, I'll start with something easy. How about the project team? We have the most exquisite project team. We have built this wonderful relationship with the people that have helped to make this museum happen. From the Ray that we mentioned earlier, to all of the other individuals that became our friends and our colleagues over the course of this build, right from the very beginning, right to the very, very end. It has been a pleasure, and I know some of you are in this room right now, to work with you, to be alongside you, to challenge you, to push you, to sometimes give you heck, but I have loved every single moment and the work that we've done together. To all of our friends, friends that are here, friends that are not here, in the local First Nations communities, the Métis community, from across the country and also here, that have given us the trust and the commitment and allowed us to build the relationships in the way they should be built. And so with that, I am eternally, eternally grateful, and I hope this museum really does feel like a place for everyone. To those that have contributed to the exhibitions, we gathered last night in this museum. For those of you that aren't aware, we had a preview evening for all of the exhibit contributors. And these are folks from across the country that have lent their voice, their story, their canoe, their kayak, their family to the museum to help to build this bigger conversation that needs to happen. And to all of you, thank you for the work that you've done to make this place better, and that you are now also committed to continuing to help us make this place a really better place. It doesn't end here. This is just the beginning. To the board, you have the board of current day and the boards of past that have helped guide me and provide the leadership and insight I needed at the time, and most importantly, to give me the trust and the confidence to do the work I needed to do. So thank you for that. It means a lot to have your trust and confidence. To my staff, my goodness, you folks are the most incredible people I have ever worked with. There is an amazing group of people that work here at the museum. We are a small but mighty team. And what I am most impressed with is that people dig in when they need to and laugh as hard as we can when we have those opportunities. And so to my staff, all of you, you know where you are. If you could just, I know you all will hate this, but if you could just stand up or throw your arms in the air, I would really like folks to know where you are. Yes. There you go. To all of the volunteers, we've had a hard go over the last number of years by not having a museum to run and operate, but I want to thank you for your patience, and I'm also excited for this next chapter with you. Thank you to the work that you've put in and the work that guaranteed you're going to continue to have to put in, because we're going to need you. To our families, all of you folks all have family. We have, Jeremy and I in particular, have an exceptional family that has helped us and supported us through a very challenging journey and many, many long hours and incredible commitment and time that we've had to put into this project to make it to be what it is today. So thank you, family. And I probably wouldn't be standing at this point in the day or the week or the year if it weren't for Jeremy. This is true. Not many opportunities in life do you get to work with somebody where you can really lean on them and they push you and you push them back, and you do end up with a much better product in the end, which is this museum, and I think this community of museum people as a whole. So thank you, Jeremy, for sharing the journey with me. We've managed to get through the ups and downs, the pivot that we needed to navigate when we were driving around looking for a property and figuring out if we could build on this particular piece of land, to all of the exhibitions. And the work that Jeremy has put into the exhibitions is incredible. And I think I'm really proud of the work that he's done on exhibitions, and he will not take credit, but there is a lot of credit that should be directed towards Jeremy. I think this museum is much stronger for the work that he has put into it, and look forward to him being able to build and run workshops and get out of the canoe museum building business.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're winding down, and our bums are sore, and our feet are sore if you're standing. So I really would love to let you know that we wouldn't have achieved this goal, this museum, if it weren't for the transformational support at the government level, at the private level, at the individual $5 level. It all has made this place come to reality. And I'm really proud to share some exciting news with everybody that our $45 million fundraising campaign to support this museum is fully funded. We did it. It wouldn't have been possible with many of you in the room and many that couldn't be here, but we have raised our full fundraising goal. This full museum, the exhibitions, the camp, it's raised. So we get to start the museum with a clean slate and get going on all the work that we need to do. And there's lots of work that still needs to be done. So for all of you, I'd like to truly, truly thank you for your support. I believe together, collectively, we've tested and proved the theory that the canoe and the kayak really can unite us. It really can bring us together and do wonderful, wonderful things. So let's get on with it, because we've got lots of good stuff to get in. So with that, thank you very much for being here. Chimigwich to all of you for everything you've done to make this a reality. And enjoy. We are open.
Very quickly. Keep going. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to wrap up this program now, and I would love to call up Janet and Janique again for a song. Before I do, because we have been offering thanks and paying honor to mothers, there's one mother in this room, happens to be mine, who turns 80 today. Bonnie McLaughlin, where are you? And I would just like to say happy birthday. And Carolyn did mention the exhibit contributors, and I hope you will meet them in the exhibit hall upstairs and meet them to listen to their content. So back to you two.